You had the cacao ceremony today, so can you do a little prayer for us?
Yeah, I would love to. So any moment that we get this blessing of sitting in nature, I would love just to say thank you to this beautiful forest that we have been, so privileged to land in and dance in and sing in. And this medicine of cacao that's been gifted from Mexico, and all the hands that have tended to this medicine, just offering so much gratitude. May it support our journey of conversation and connection today. Yeah, I'm really grateful to be here.
Thank you. Gracias.
Gracias por la medicina.
Por la medicina. Molly, you do pretty much everything what is possible in this world. You are a teacher in so many ways. You teach contact dance, you teach yoga, you teach movement. You are also a great musician. You are a singer. You are a harmonium player. And you are also a writer. You write poetry. Tell me, what's your favorite thing of all of these things? And maybe you can add some.
Thank you. Yeah, each of the practices have touched me in a different way at a different moment in my life. And recently something I've been connecting to so deeply is something called movement communication, which includes a lot of the somatic work and the idea of movement being healing. So not just dance, but any form of connecting to our body, heart and mind, our soma. And oftentimes I get to teach this through the workshops like contact dance and an embodied movement. I teach trainings in this, in yoga and embodied movement. And the more I dive into these practices, the more that I believe that movement is healing. And of course I love everything I share. And recently moving with groups of people has felt really, really connected for me.
So movement is for now your favorite thing. Yeah, I've experienced same thing as you, do like million things in same time. But what is above all these things? Because what I experienced, that they share same intention, same purpose. What is it for you? What is the purpose above all, like the cherry on the top, you know?
Yes. Well, I think the thing that weaves its way through everything I do, so whether I'm sharing a song circle or a ceremony or a ritual or a dance, I always have the intention of how can we leave feeling more connected to our heart space. So there's always going to be that almost woven throughout. And I think that's why for me it almost doesn't matter what the practice is, but how do we connect to ourselves throughout it. And that's why I do all of these things, because in different moments, to really melt away the layers that may build up around ourselves so that we can fully feel, it takes different practices, different things that we can connect to in order just to soften those layers. Yeah.
Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
And I'm interested how your practice looks like. What do you do day by day? What helps you to stay connected? What's practice for yourself? What's your self-care? Because it's the most important thing. You are the source of this beautiful creation.
Yes. Well, the first thing that I commit to is always taking time for myself each day. That's like the foundation, whether I'm teaching a training or whether I'm at these festivals and sharing workshops. I always make sure I have a pocket of time that I get to ideally just be in nature. And I move my body, I connect to my breath. And sometimes it can just be this simple, actually. One thing I really love is writing, like you mentioned at the beginning, and that actually is almost more of a private practice of mine. I write every day. I can't think of a day where I don't write in my journal, and this is like an immediate pathway to connection for me. And along with moving my body, I feel like this is the next thing that I really commit to, of like just to check in and just to feel. I do stream of consciousness journaling, where I just put pen to paper and just write, and it's been a really beautiful self-inquiry practice for me. And I don't really share it, you know, because it feels so deep and so personal, but it's something that, yeah, I feel so grateful to every moment I sit and I have the time to just write. I feel so grateful. Yeah.
Writing can be really challenging for people, but it's really helpful. Can you maybe give an advice for those who want to start do journaling on writing? How to start, or what are you writing about?
Yeah. So one thing that I always recommend for people who are just starting is to create a container of time. So set a timer for, say, 8 minutes.
All right.
And just commit for this 8 minutes to putting pen to paper, even if what you're writing is, I don't know what to write and this feels weird and this is, there's nothing coming to say. And it's like a muscle, we begin to like develop and strengthen this muscle, where if we did this every day for 8 minutes, on the 10th day of doing this, it would feel very different to day one. And this is always my recommendation, is not to try to write something or something specific, but just to put pen to paper and see what happens, and not for it to be for something, So often we dive into creative practice in order to share it, which is so beautiful. But for me, my practice, both with my voice and with writing, is often just to be in the, like, what is here now to feel. And it's not something to share with the world, actually. So that's how I really look after myself.
So just practice.
Practice.
Like everything, practice.
Yeah, just doing it.
And one more thing, what I want to ask you about is trauma healing. You are also a trauma healer, and I suppose it's also based on your own experience. How you work with trauma and how the journey even started, because it's such an interesting theme and such sensitive theme.
Yeah, it's a very, very present topic, I feel, in a lot of spaces right now, is how can we hold spaces that are trauma informed. So I would say that I'm trauma informed in the way that I facilitate, rather than a healer of trauma. But in the spaces where I'm holding movement or voice, what I'm aware of is that these practices can be deep enough where actually we get to touch parts of ourselves that maybe we haven't had the opportunity to touch before. And there's a scale and a range of trauma from here to here, and in different moments we can touch different things. And for me, what's really important in the way that I hold is that I know how to tend to whatever it is that arises, because then we give people permission to bring all of themselves to the space. And one way that I really love to dive in to a practice of release, cathartic release, is through movement. So through somatic practice, whether it be shaking or sounding or even writing, like we can touch so much through just connecting to the body. And so not in every space will I be not encouraging, but almost opening up this space. But in specific, particularly one-on-one clients, I'll be opening a space where we get to touch like the very deepest parts of ourselves. And yeah, it feels worthwhile, because I think that what I feel you can touch in one somatic session sometimes can be more than the things we've spoken about for many, many years, actually, because trauma lives inside of the body. And when we access our bodies, we get to unveil and uncover what is there that we weren't even aware we were holding. And so yeah, this has become more part of my practice, that I do in balance with a lot of the other things.
Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, I think through the contact dance, you are do the trauma healing as well, because yesterday it was so powerful. And I also started crying, but it was so gentle. You know, sometimes the healing is a little traumatic.
Yeah.
And this way it's really gentle and inspiring. So thank you for sharing this beautiful practice with us.
Of course.
And I would like to mention that we are at Healing Festival, and it is your first time here. How are you enjoying it so far?
I've been loving it. Yeah, the moment walking in, I feel so at home in the forest, you know, and being amongst the trees and just the beauty of the spaces. Like, it just felt like a beautiful exhale when I walked in, and each of the classes I've taught have felt so, everyone's felt so available and just so open immediately to drop in to what it is that's being shared. So I'm really grateful to have been invited here and to share here, and yeah, it feels like we're creating a little family.
Yeah, we do, definitely.
Yeah, I can feel it.
And if you can share one message with all of these people, with 4,000 people, what would you share?
I would share a quote that was said by Nanda Mayima, this beautiful sage, and she said that nothing is worth closing our heart for. And I really feel this. Yeah.
I have goosebumps. Okay, that's such a beautiful end. Thank you, Molly, for your time so much. Thank you for being here. It's a really blessing to all of us. And you're doing so much. You're doing so much. Just being you is enough. Thank you, Myla.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we will celebrate it with the kakao.
Salud.
Salud.